Welcome to another video, guys. I'm Kris05 and today I'll give you some Hearthstone Battlegrounds tips and builds for this new and addictive game mode. I have to say, I'm really enjoying Battlegrounds so far, and I'm even having a hard time getting back to ladder because of it. But don't worry, we will start smashing ladder on stream really soon, so hold tight. As always, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like and subscribe if you're new. Now let's get into it. Okay, so no need to clarify the basic stuff like minion cost, sell cost and so on. I'm already assuming you know it's free to buy and one to sell. Oops, yes, I clarified it. Are you happy now, YouTube? The video's longer. Whatever. Anyway, a little more advanced information would be how the leveling of the Tavern works. The cost for upgrading to level 2 is always 5 on the first round, unless you're Bartendotron. For level 2 it would be 7, for free 8, and all the way up to Tavern level 6 you will be at 11. If you do remain on a Tavern level for a turn, the cost drops by 1, all the way down to 0 if you camp that level that long. Once you upgrade, the cost goes up to its designated Tavern cost. For instance, if you pay 2 gold to level up to Tavern 4, Tavern 5 will again cost 10 gold as usual on that turn. Leveling up your Tavern gives you higher level units and more units each reroll. On level 1, you only get to choose from free 1-star units, and that is why you almost always, if not always, upgrade your Tavern on turn 2. On Tavern level 2, you get 2-star units in the mix as well as an extra unit to choose from. You get 1 extra unit to choose from on Tavern 4, and on Tavern 6 you get to choose from 6 units each reroll. A quick tip here would be to rarely level up to Tavern tier 6. You get to discover level 6 units from triples, so that would be a far better strategy for you, rather than rushing level 6 for 7 or 8 gold. If you really want to go to 6, I guess you can do it after it's about 5 gold. The units you choose from are from a shared pool, meaning there's a limited number of each minion, and all 8 players are choosing from those minions. If you were wondering, from the 1-star units, there are 18 copies of each. 15 from the 2-star, 13 from 3, 11 from 4, 9 from 5 and 6 from 6. This means that if I get a Mama Bear, there will be 5 Mama Bears left for the other 7 players. If I sell it though, the pool will be back at 6 again. An interesting thought is what happens to the minions of the already eliminated players. Some pros say that they get back into the shared pool, but I haven't seen any official information about that, so if you do have any information about it, please share it in the comments. Let's talk about some general tips and good practices now. In the first rounds, it's always a good idea to buy token units, meaning alley cats and Tidehunters. The idea behind this is you get to sell those for 2 gold instead of 1, but there's more to it. You also get to do a triple unit with them much easier, since even tokens can become a triple unit, so you probably want to freeze your token minions too, if you can't afford them yet. A cool strategy is to buy cats and Tidehunters and sell the white cat and the 2/1 Murloc, so you increase your chance to discover it again. But keep in mind that this is a greedy strategy and it can backfire, due to the lack of board space, so it's up to you how you execute it. Having tokens also makes your turns a lot smoother, since you will have a better economy for the usually awkward turn 5, where you normally buy 1 unit and reroll or hero power, which is less than perfect most of the time. Having that 1 extra gold will give you the advantage of buying a second unit, which is pretty solid early on. Also consider when you will be playing that golden unit you get. Once you play it, you will get an extra unit of the next tier of the Tavern, so sometimes it would be better to upgrade the Tavern before you do that, so you get to discover core units like Junkbots, Hydras, Lightfangs, Malganises and so on. Usually, the optimal way to go for the first 5 turns would be turn 1 buy a token unit, turn 2 upgrade Tavern, on 3 sell a token and buy 2 minions, on 4 buy 2 minions, on 5 buy a minion and upgrade. After that, things get a little trickier and you have to think more about what you need to be doing. Regarding board positioning, usually you want to put your heavy hitters all the way to the left and your utility minions all the way to the right. You should start thinking about Divine Shields and Cleaves around the mid and especially in the late game. Putting taunts next to your carry minions wouldn't be too smart at that point, and sometimes you can even put your taunts all the way to the left just to make sure your carries and utility units have more time on the board. Another important thing to note is that in the early rounds it is better to buy solid units without really trying to force a strategy yet. Rerolling early is not good for you, so just buy those beefy, well-statted units and conserve your health for the mid-game. Talking about strategies or builds, there are 3 pretty good ones and a few less optimal ones. The best 3 would be Lightfang, Mechs and Beasts. Demons are also pretty good, but quite risky and very dependent on hitting that early Mal'Ganis, so you don't kill yourself to death with your demons. Murlocs can also sometimes work, but it is far from the optimal strategy for you in 9 games out of 10, so I advise you to stay away from it. Before I give you some pointers for the top 4 strategies, I have to let you guys know that HS Replay actually implemented a cool feature for Battlegrounds. Now you can see the last known board of the opponent you're playing against, just with a hover over them. This is quite valuable information, because if you know the basics of each strategy and the possible transitions, you will have a better idea of knowing what you will be facing. Knowing if there's a cleave coming your way is essential for your board placement, and same goes for poison and divine shields, so I would definitely advise you to get your hands on the latest HS Replay and make full use of this information. Back to the builds. Let's start off with Lightfang Strategy, aka the Menagerie build. This one revolves around the units it takes its name from, obviously. Menagerie Magician buffs 3 of your units when played, and if you find room for a Lightfang on your board, he will buff your units for +8/+8 turn after turn. So if you manage to conserve your health early on, and you found a Hydra and an Amalgam, let's say, then it's possibly time to transition to your endgame Lightfang strategy. Here you want all the buffs to land on your Hydra, so that means it has to be the only beast on board. Amalgam will serve as your Murloc most of the time, and you get to pick a beefy demon and a mech for your other 2 buff receivers. Foe Reaper can also work for you if you don't find Hydra for too long, and you can even use them side by side. Picking up other buff units along the way is also pretty good, and you basically win the game with your absurdly statted board, so the longer the game goes, the higher your chances are. It's important to note that if you have a second Amalgam on the board, you only want to have your Hydra and 1 extra tribe on the board, so that way you make sure your Hydra is always getting the buff. It goes without saying that you need to land a Toxfin and an Noyo module on your Amalgam. With beasts, you can identify that you can go that route fairly early. You just have to find those rat packs, hyenas and pack leaders, and you're in business. Getting pack leaders before Hydra is pretty important because you want those buffs to hit the Hydra, so even if you found it early, consider holding on to it till you get the buffs. Alternatively, you could play it and just sell it when you find a second Hydra, or hope to get a third one, but it's up to you. For beasts, your most important unit stars are level 2 for hyenas and rat packs, 3 for pack leaders, 4 for hydras, 5 for Goldrins, and 6 for mama bears. Usually, it's better to discover the unit you want, so staying a tier lower than that unit would be better for you, so you can try to secure it. If you're not near a triple unit though, it would be better to just get to the next Tavern level and try getting it from rerolls. With beasts, you usually want to get Tavern level 5 fairly quickly, so you get more shots at Mama Bear from the discovers, but don't go leveling like mad without having a decent board that can carry you to the mid and late game. For the Mech Strategy, you can basically force it, but you should also think about transitioning to it if you find an early junk bot. The good mechs are all in your reach as soon as you go to Tavern level 3 and 4, so you get a lot of extra gold to find cards you need. The core mechs for you would be kobolds, junk bots, and the magnetic dudes and buffer guys. Having an early Amalgam also helps a lot. Getting replicating menaces and rovers for your junk bots and kobolds is quite nice too, so try grabbing them when you can. You can also upgrade to 5 for a chance to discover a Foe Reaper, but even if you don't get him, the junk bots are usually more than enough to get the job done for you. And for demons, you want those early Wrath Weavers. From there, you pick most of the demons you see along the way and those soul jugglers. The real risk factor here is killing yourself before finding that Mal'Ganis. Finding an early Battle Master can also save you from taking too much opponent damage too, since poison is not too popular early on. But for the strategy to work, you really need to rush through the shop levels till level 4, so you have more shots at finding him and Mal'Ganis. If that fails, just go to level 5 and reroll like mad, because time is ticking. That also lets you find Voidlords, which is amazing in this build too, so there's that. Lastly, I want to clarify the elo system to you guys, since I see a lot of you are wondering why you're getting less and less points for each win. Personally, I started very bad in the Battlegrounds, and I fell way below 4k till I knew what I was doing. Now I know what I'm doing, and for the last 2 streams combined, I have 7 hours worth of Battlegrounds, where I literally always finish in the top 3, but I am getting less and less rating. The reason for this is the number of games played. Apparently, the first 10 or maybe even 20 games have the most impact on your rating, so the more games you play after that, the less MMR you will be getting. This is quite lame, and I'm hoping Blizzard will address it, hopefully soon. But until then, if you really want to start getting higher in ranks, maybe it would be a better idea for you to hop onto another server and start fresh with all the new knowledge you acquired. Tonight I will do that and jump over to NA to really smash through the ranks, because 37 points per first place is just not cutting it for me anymore. Anyway, that's it for this video, guys. Special thanks to Trim for helping me with the tips and strategies for this one. Hope the video helped you, and if it did, you know what to do. Thanks for watching. I'm Kris05, and I'll see you in my next video.